Hi guys, how are you?
Good.
Good.
Sorry, it's a little dark where I am.
Nothing to do.
That's
Um,
okay. That's okay. I'm the designated introducer, and I know you don't need any introduction, but I did want to say we're so glad to have you here tonight. And we're sort of celebrating here tonight about the passage of ARP. And we talked a lot about that and how we can amplify it and get good news out there. And I just want to say it must feel fantastic to be able to actually pass a bill that's going to be signed by the president. It has to be exciting for you. So anyway, thank you for all you're doing. And we're just going to turn it right over to you. And then we'll ask questions if you have time.
no, you really hit the nail on the head, Sherry. And you're absolutely spot on that I was reflecting just a little bit ago that I was going to be with you all tonight and how special and significant that would feel on the heels of this major accomplishment. And it's very clear that the other side of the aisle is fringe on this. They are totally fringe and they are on the wrong side of history and this moment in time. And in fact, you can recall that when the former guy was in the White House, they were all very excited to go and vote for this very similar type of legislation that they rejected. And what I find very interesting is that we have Republican mayors who said we have broken with our party here. And we are saying that we are supporting this bill. And that we are enthusiastic about what is coming down with the American Rescue Plan. And in part, what this is it's an assurance for the American people. We got that child tax credit in there. I mean, we might see child poverty halved in America, cut in half. And several of my colleagues who've been in the Congress for a lot longer than me will tell you that they have been working on this for over 15 years, and that just got done today. It got done. And I was being interviewed, and they're saying, well, don't you think this should be bipartisan? Don't you think we should have people there? And I said, yeah, I do, actually. But the reality is that they have shown us under Mitch McConnell's leadership time and time again that they just don't want to do anything. And instead of doing nothing, we have chosen to do something incredible for people. Obviously, the stimulus checks, the assistance coming down to our municipalities, that's going to be so impactful in Michigan's 11th district. I'm working with our mayors and township supervisors on this, just how they can utilize this funding for the long term, starting to think through our economic recovery and also this plight to getting vaccines in people's arms, which is so attached to the need to have personnel, to have the human capital there, the reopening of our schools and making up for what we've lost by doubling guidance counselors in our schools, assisting with the resources. I've been working again. I wish you guys could have seen this all up close because I've been every week I do these meetings and I've been doing it for the last year, and to be in this place and to show what Joe Biden and what the Democrats stand for, which is unity, and it's unity through delivery. It's unity through delivery. And I'm grateful to have had the first term under my belt. Because the first term, right, gave us, the pathway to passing all these bills that, went and languished in Mitch McConnell's graveyard, but we're doing them again. We did the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. We're voting on H.R. 8, which is our common sense gun safety legislation. And we're just delivering here. We're not wasting a minute. And I'll tell you, I'm not even tired. I'm not even tired. My sleeves are rolled up and I'm loving it because we're realizing the promises and all the things that we've worked so hard for. And I just got to tell you guys that Indivisible Huron Valley is in a really tough area. And you guys represent, I think, the heart and soul of the grassroots effort that has helped keep Michigan's 11th district blue. It's not easy. We could cower to some of I think the toughness that you guys deal with out in the field, but yet we never have. And we have I remember this summer we had our picnic event. I know you're continuing to hold these regular meetings. And I just love, Sherry, how you said, we want to work with you on capturing this. And every week we're going to have something to share. I've been going over to our vaccination sites, and it's just, there's such places of hope. And I got to say, more help is on the way. More help is on the way. So this is what all of this represents. And this is a special day. And I'm going to tell you all something. I'm your Congress friend, and we are going to remember that we were together virtually today, the day that we passed the American Rescue Act into law. And it's only just beginning, because the last time I checked, Mr. Joe Biden hasn't even been president for more than 60 days. So he's setting a new pace for presidents. I think they're going to be looking at, the first 50 days now. And this is what you get when you have someone who loves government, who wants to make government work, and who wants to do things for people. And I'll just also say, the labor agenda here has been really important. For some of you who might know how important solving our pension crisis has been, we got that into the American Rescue Plan. We got that into the legislation. The bill that a form of a bill that we had worked on that is basically going to save the pensions of almost 1 million Americans. And can you imagine losing everything you've ever worked for, or thinking you might lose it all, and just looking and hoping and waiting? And it was a federal response. And this ties into the work that I was very, very attached to when I worked on the auto rescue, and we got the pension bill in there. And I've been texting with the Teamsters and, my friends in labor. And I said, we just passed the Protecting the Right to Organize Act, which for those of us in Michigan is so, so important, because we know we've got to repeal right to work. And now we've got a bill that's going to prioritize workers' rights when we've lived through one of the most profound moments in history with this pandemic, in recent history, reminding us about the importance of organized labor and safety standards that are in people's hands. So this is just unbelievable, guys. I just wish we were hugging and dancing, and we will be. And the shots are coming, and I want all of you to get the vaccine. I want a shot in everyone's arm. I'm pushing on this every day. I wake up thinking about it. I go to bed thinking about it. And if you can't tell, a few years into this job, I'm loving it. And I'm honored to be here with and for all of you. And thanks for making some time for me tonight. Thank you guys so much.
So Haley, we got a couple of questions. I'm going to be really greedy and ask mine first. And the reason I am is because we've been asking our members a lot. We've been begging them, call. And we have these daily to-dos we're doing for the first 100 days of Biden's administration. And people are calling you, and they're calling our senators. And we're having very specific asks each day. So a lot of people are saying, I feel a little funny calling Haley's office 2 or 3 times a week. And I keep reassuring them, no, don't worry about that, because she wants to hear from you, because I know the opposition is calling. So I guess what I'd like to know, because I think it would be interesting to know, is when we make a call to your office and talk to someone on your staff, what is sort of the pathway of that phone call? What do they do? How do they tally? How do they take that information, and how does it get to you?
So I take the constituent communications very, very seriously. And as someone representing over 700,000 people, as you can imagine, a lot comes in. If it's phone calls, and in particularly outreach that requires written correspondence, we're talking about last year, I did 50,000 written correspondence back to folks. And sometimes people say, well, I just got a form letter from you. And I said, oh, no. Because sometimes I'll get form letters written to me, right? Dear Congresswoman Stevens, it's the same thing that's, 100 people are saying. But I say, no. I'm getting every week a report. And so if you're calling in about a various topic, I'll see how many people have called in, what they've said. And this is why, Sherry, to your good point, it is really important for me to hear from you. Because if you can imagine, if I'm only hearing from the other side and all the negative, then that's where I think the district is, right? I need to know, especially in a tight swing district like ours, where folks are, And so I'll say, okay, they're calling it on HR1, and this is so great because I co-sponsored it, and this is what people are saying, and this is the pulse of part of our district. And so I'll get those reports, and granted, our volume is high. So with that, I'll get a snapshot, and every week I get about a dozen snapshots of exactly, it'll say Sherry Mason called in about this, or so-and-so called in about this. And guys, we have such a big district. Sometimes I get people, I've never met them. And I get these comments in about all sorts of things. And then I say, we got to work on this, or we got to follow up on this. And it's really, I have a great system. And actually last year in my first term, they had me, share with some of my colleagues how we were doing our correspondence, because we were really, really successful. And, we didn't want to sit on it, right? We wanted to make sure where we were being very responsive and reaching out. So keep all that coming. And trust me, I know you guys, put a lot of work and time into that. And I want to liaise with you on every topic and every big idea. It's really, really important.
Okay. Thank you. I wanted everybody to hear that. So thanks a lot. One of the other questions we had was about the committees for us. The question, we wondered if you would remind us which committees you sit on, because I know I'm learning a lot and learning how important that is. Keep track of what the committees are doing. And I guess my question would be, other than a reminder of which committees you're on, but also, do you meet as a committee on a regular basis, or do you just meet when there is a bill for you to mark up or to deal with?
Yeah, so I sit on the Science, Space, and Technology Committee. I'm really excited about that. That was my big push when I got to Congress. That was the one committee I wanted to be on. I'm a subcommittee chair for the second term now for research and technology, which oversees the National Science Foundation, as well as the National Institute of Standards and Technologies, as well as the Economic Development Administration's innovation portfolio. And if I can ever get them to send me the background, the Department of Transportation's R&D efforts. So we'll have hearings on topics on occasion that aren't necessarily marking up bills. We have committees to authorize our agencies. We also have meetings. We can convene meetings as a committee and as a subcommittee. We'll have subcommittee hearings. We'll have full committee hearings. We definitely are going through the bill marking up process. One of the reasons why we're being so productive and why we're lucky to have such an experienced speaker is that she implemented a rule for the first 100 days of this legislative session in Congress that we could circumvent the committee markup process to just move bills to the floor, which I supported, because a lot of these bills we had marked up just a year ago, like the PRO Act, like HR8, like HR1. And there's, you can still do amendments, as you see. Amendments can still move to the floor. Then the other committee I'm on is the Education and Labor Committee. I'm on the Pension Subcommittee, right? So this pension work is, like I was mentioning, is really big. and the other subcommittee I'm on, which is so important, is the Workplace Safety Subcommittee. It's a big portfolio. I'm also leading a manufacturing task force, which we're about to launch publicly next week with Whip Clyburn. He asked me to, this is like an honor of my lifetime, okay? Jim Clyburn asked me to lead a manufacturing task force with him that includes about 30 of our colleagues in the Congress. And so that's going to be an incredible vehicle to passing our industrial policy legislation and supporting President Biden's Build Back Better efforts. But all the committee hearings, and I really try and advertise what I'm doing in that regard. And I know some of you have maybe, sometimes some committee hearings get a lot of attention, but I really encourage you to watch some of the committee hearings I'm involved in, particularly on education and with some of our efforts around reopening schools and bringing educational opportunity, addressing some of our labor issues. They're really, really worth watching, and they're really good. And I'll definitely commit to making sure you guys keep updated. Last legislative session, as a subcommittee chair, I was able to bring a hearing to Livonia. Again, that was just a general hearing, not really, sometimes you hold hearings to start formulating the legislation. And so we had one on autonomous vehicles in Livonia. And it was great. And we had some of the protesters, the Trumpers came to, yell at me about impeachment. And I had the gavel, and I didn't think they realized how serious a congressional hearing is. So, that prevented any of that from happening. Sherry, I have about time for one more question here. And I'm sorry to run a little bit short on you. My battery's dying.
Oh, no. Okay.
Sorry about that.
Before your battery dies, Jeff Garner had a question about maybe, and if you know off the top of your head about House Resolution 5845, it is the Break Free from Plastic Pollution Act of 2020. And he's wondering that if that will be advanced to the Senate.
Listen, we have a lot of priorities around plastics. I don't know about that one entirely. That has not gone through my task force, which is a real bipartisan, bicameral vehicle. Mm-hmm. And there's a little bit of division around how exactly to do it, but my plastics bill, which is on R&D and strengthened community resources for recycling, I was told by our chair that bill has a top priority. Now, I do know the one that you're talking about has a few sponsors. And the last time I talked to my census folks, I don't think that they were, on board with that. I don't know if that was really on their radar. So we'll have to put our heads together on that and keep pushing. I also saw that Larry Lipton was asking about the community breakdown for the rescue plan. And we have that. We have fact sheets coming out to everybody right now. So we'll have that on our website. We have this really nice breakdown. We know all the resources. It's final, what's coming to our district. It's all been delivered to our municipalities as well.
Great. That's a good thing to know.
And we're gonna share that far and wide. Like, good. I'll make sure all of you have it, and especially where you guys are in Huron Valley, our school district as well as our municipalities. And listen, I got a good thing going with our Milford Township and City of Milford. Guys, it's the funniest thing. I work really well with the local electeds in Huron Valley. I mean, I really do. And they cut the crap. They don't get into partisan with me, and we just talk about delivering and doing and infrastructure projects. And I just say to them, hey, I'm here to cut through red tape with you, and it's not at all contentious. It's actually a really good thing we have going. And so that should compel your community involvement as well. So, we're making it all fancy. So people have not just sometimes they're doing it in Excel sheets. I want it to be nicely written out on separate fact sheets for all, 24 of my communities in Michigan 11.
Okay. Well, anybody else have something real quick?
I just wanted to know how your dad's doing, Haley.
Oh, well, thank you so much. He's doing a lot better. He got a second shot of his vaccine. He was in the hospital for 9 days. He received great care from Beaumont. We've made a lot of progress in terms of the care with this virus, but man, is it no joke. I think this was the biggest thing. But hey, listen, I am so sorry. I know, Karen, I'm going to give you a call. My phone is literally about to die. So I'm so sorry.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah. No, until we see each other, I'll come see you guys this summer, or sooner than that, whenever we can all be together. So thank you.
Okay. Well, that was nice to hear from Haley. Got some of our questions answered. We know our phone calls and our emails don't go unnoticed. And it's nice to see that she's a leader with how to manage those. Remember, we're going to shoot for an in-person event outside in May. So let's hold out hope that we have nice weather and keep fighting for democracy.
Make your to-dos.
Keep doing your to-dos.